Hi everybody, Jay here. Today's walk is going to be in the section between Carnation Lane and Daisy Lane, and it will specifically feature Civil War veterans. Let's begin with Albert Norton. Albert was born in October of 1837 in New York, died on January 9th, 1917. He was with Company I of the 29th Indiana, although his marker says the 29th Minnesota. I believe Minnesota furnished 11 infantry regiments. The 29th Indiana Regiment participated in the Battle of Shiloh, as well as other historic battlefields such as Chickamauga and Stones River. He was injured at Stones River and taken prisoner at Libby Prison and then Annapolis Prison before being exchanged. He ended the war as a guard at Camp Douglas in Chicago. Albert helped to get the local GAR post organized and was largely responsible for the first public observance of Memorial Day in Princeton, Minnesota. Silas G Howard Sr., born September 1st, 1837 in Brownville, Maine, died on 17th of March in 1901. He was a corporal with Company H of the 11th Maine Infantry. The 11th Maine saw a lot of action, including the defense of Washington, D.C., the Battle of Malvern Hill, and the Appomattox Campaign, which ended with the surrender of the Confederate Army. Silas had 10 children and was known as a premier gardener of vegetables and roses. Barrett Carter, born April 5, 1836, in Dresden, New York, died March 22, 1906. Barrett was with Company D of the 127th New York Volunteer Regiment, and he was a private. The 127th participated in many hard-fought battles, one of which was the Battle of Honey Hill, the third battle of Sherman's March to the Sea. Wallace T. Ryan's Post conducted his funeral services, and many old soldiers attended. Edward H. Coleman, born in 1837 in Germany, died June 8, 1893. Edward was with Company E, the 2nd Missouri Infantry at the beginning. He then re-enlisted in 1864 with Company E, 9th U.S. Veterans. The 2nd Missouri saw a lot of action, including the Battle of Chickamauga, Chattanooga, and others. He and his wife had 7 children and lived on a farm in Blue Hill Township. Charles Beck Rogers was born November 1st, 1844, in Brownville, Maine. He died January 30th, 1907. Charles was with Company H of the 11th Maine Infantry, and he was a private. Charles participated in 20 battles and was eventually wounded and taken prisoner at Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia. Libby Prison was notorious for the overcrowded and harsh conditions. Charles is the 2nd veteran so far that spent time there. Charles Anderson, born August 9th, 1834, in Brunswick, Maine. He died March 1st, 1916. Charles was with Company D of the 1st Minnesota Infantry. He came to Princeton in 1854. During the time of the Battle of Gettysburg, Charles was detailed at the Annapolis Hospital. After the war, he had 8 children, one of which was John, who fought in the Spanish-American War. John F. Wedgwood, born in 1843 in Brownville, Maine. He died September 15, 1891. He was with Company H of the 11th Maine Infantry, and he was a corporal. John came to Princeton in 1866, but his health was not good because of what he endured while in the Army. His wife, Viola Mayo, was praised in the local paper for her heroic effort to care for him and their 4 children. Reuben M Male was born on May 9, 1833 in Waldo County, Maine. He died July 15, 1905. He was with Company E of the 1st Minnesota Infantry. He was wounded in the thigh at the Battle of Chantilly, or otherwise known as Vienna, near the Fairfax Courthouse. Andrew John Stanley, born in December of 1834, died September 22, 1901. Andrew was with Company M, 2nd Minnesota Cavalry. 2nd Minnesota served entirely in Minnesota, Dakota Territory, and also Montana Territory. James A. Welch, born 1844 in Maine, died January 31st, 1927. He was with Company F of the 7th New Hampshire Infantry. The 7th New Hampshire served mostly in Florida and fought in several battles, such as the Second Battle of Fort Wagner, the Battle of Drury's Bluff, and the Siege of Petersburg. George Morrill Smith, born February 23, 1827, in Brownville, Maine, died January 5, 1912. George was with Company A, 6th Maine Infantry, and was a corporal. He saw action at the battles of Fredericksburg, Antietam, Williamsburg, and Chancellorsville. George married after the war and had 7 children, and lived on a farm and was engaged in lumbering. Isaiah Seward Gould, born 1840 in Windham, Maine, died July 8, 1888. He was with Company A, the 6th Maine Infantry. The 6th Maine was involved in many engagements: Yorktown, Williamsburg, Antietam, Fredericksburg, Gettysburg, Battle of the Wilderness, and several more. Caleb Pinkham Jr., born July 10, 1845 in Ohio, died June 22, 1926. Caleb was with Company K of the 12th Wisconsin Infantry. 12th Wisconsin was engaged at the Siege of Vicksburg, the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain, Battle of Atlanta, and the Battle of Bentonville. After the war, he married and had 4 children and had a 160-acre farm. Isaac Mayo Heath, born February 28, 1839 in Brownville, Maine, died April 17, 1898. He was with Company E of the 14th Maine Infantry and was a corporal. The 14th Maine started in Boston, embarked on the steamer North America to Ship Island, Mississippi, then on to New Orleans and Baton Rouge, where they participated in the Battle of Baton Rouge, which was a ground and naval battle where the Union halted Confederate attempts to recapture the capital city. Noah Gates, born February 23, 1821, in Wendell, Massachusetts, died August 22, 1888. He was with the 2nd Minnesota Light Artillery and was a private. 2nd Minnesota Light Artillery engagements included Perryville, Stones River, Chickamauga, and Chattanooga. Wallace W. Rhines, born 1844, Hagen Main, died December 17, 1876. He was with Company I of the 8th Minnesota. The 8th Minnesota's main service was on the plains, and then they went south and engaged in the Battle of Murfreesboro. He was wounded in the head and shoulders and suffered the rest of his life until death. Jonas R. Hill, born January 4, 1831 in St. Charles, Canada. He died June 24, 1907. Jonas was with Company E of the 1st Minnesota Infantry. Jonas was wounded in the heroic charge at Plum Run at the Battle of Gettysburg, where 70% of the regiment was wounded or killed. Read up on this to see how Minnesotans literally saved the Union against all odds. I hope that you've enjoyed this short history lesson and that you'll make the time to go out and visit the sites of these Civil War veterans. Thank you.